Hello everyone, in the previous part we discussed about protoplasm. In this session I would like to explain plasma membrane. Plasma membrane. Okay, plasma membrane. This plasma membrane is also known as biomembrane or cell membrane. It is also known as biomembrane or it is also called as cell membrane. Cell membrane. Otherwise, it is also known as plasma lemma. Plasma lemma. These three names are present for the plasma membrane. Are you understand? Plasma membrane is called biomembrane, cell membrane, or plasma lemma. These three names are given to the plasma membrane. Next, this plasma membrane is made up of with proteins and phospholipids. Made up of with proteins and phospholipids. Proteins and phospholipids. Plasma membrane is generally selectively permeable. It is selectively permeable. In some books it is also wrote that this plasma membrane is a semi-permeable membrane. Semi-permeable membrane. In most of the books it is written as selectively permeable membrane. In some books it is also given that plasma membrane is a semi-permeable membrane. Generally, plasma membrane is a porous membrane. Porous membrane. This is membrane. In the membrane, pores are present. These are the pores. Okay. This is the inside of the cell. This is outside of the cell. Inner side and outer side. Outer side of the cell, number of particles are present. They are vary in their shape. Okay, these all are particles. When the plasma membrane acts as semi-permeable membrane, it allows the particles according to the pore size. Are you understand? This is inner side, this is outer side. Outside the cell, number of particles are present. They are different in size and shape. When it acts semi-permeable membrane, these particles, these are smaller in size. For example, these are smaller in size. These particles will enter into the plasma membrane, will enter into the cell through plasma membrane through pores according to pore size. This is through this pore, this particle will enter. These are larger in size. These particles are larger in size, so that they will not enter into the cell because of pore size. Okay. Next, when it acts as selectively permeable membrane. This plasma membrane selects. For example, these three particles are present. In these three particles, only this particle is required. Then this particle only enter into the cell through plasma membrane. That means plasma membrane is selecting which particle is required to the cell. That's why it is called selectively permeable membrane. In the semi-permeable membrane, these three particles will enter into the cell. They may be required particles or harmful particles or useful particles, whatever they may be, but they enter into the cell. Here, plasma membrane is selecting particular substance or particular particle. Then only they will enter into the cell. In other case, for example, this is another particle, this is larger than the pore size. This particle is larger than the pore size, but this particle is required to the cell. In that case, this plasma membrane forms infoldings, that forms a cup-like structure. Then this particle enter into this infolding or cup-like structure. This phenomena is called endocytosis. By the process of endocytosis, plasma membrane select required particle and that particle entered into the cell. This is the difference between selectively permeable membrane and semi-permeable membrane. When the plasma membrane is in living system, it acts as semi-permeable. Are you understand? When it is present in living system, it acts as selectively permeable membrane. When it is outside living system, it acts as semi-permeable membrane. When it is present in living system, it acts as selectively permeable. When it is outside the living system, it acts as semi-permeable membrane. For this, I would like to explain by taking an example. For example, you take one beaker and this beaker is filled with dilute hydrochloric acid. This is hydrochloric acid which is diluted. Dilute HCl, hydrochloric acid. And in this solution, keep one egg. This is egg. Keep one egg. This egg have a shell which is made up of with calcium carbonate. This is calcium carbonate shell. After some period of time, this calcium carbonate reacts with hydrochloric acid and plasma membrane only present. Plasma membrane is released, which is inside the shell. Okay. In the egg is a living system. When this plasma membrane present inside the egg, it acts as selectively permeable. When it is removed from egg, this plasma membrane acts as semi-permeable membrane. When it is present in the living system, it acts as selectively permeable. When it is outside the living system, it acts as semi-permeable membrane. This membrane can be used in different experiments as semi-permeable membrane. And coming to properties of plasma membrane. Coming to properties, plasma membrane is a selectively permeable membrane. It is selectively permeable membrane. Next, second property is plasma membrane is made up of with proteins and lipids. They are variable in their ratio. Protein and lipid ratio is variable. Next, plasma membrane is dynamic. It may be static or dynamic. Plasma membrane is dynamic. Why it is dynamic? When it is present in the living system, it acts as selectively permeable. When it is outside the living system, it acts as semi-permeable. That means that is changing. That's why it is called dynamic membrane. This is about plasma membrane and their properties. In the next session, I will explain the structure of plasma membrane. For that, more than 50 theories have proposed. In that main theories I will explain in the next class. Okay, thank you.